Welcome to Stress Release Yoga. I'm Christy. Let's take a deep breath. Good. I'm on my ottoman this morning. I'm just going to show you a couple things. If you have an ottoman, great. You can see if this works for you or not. It may not work for it won't work for everybody, but it may work for you. If you have a bench, you can do that too. I have like a little wooden bench that I sometimes use, and I'll put a folded up towel on it so it doesn't dig into me so much. But if you don't have something, don't worry about it. I'm just going to show you these couple of things. If you have a prop that you can use, great. If not, we're going to move on without the prop. All right, here we go. Too many thoughts in my head this morning, and a bunch of empty spaces in there too. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. This is one of my favorite things to do. You can do this on the edge of your bed. If you've got a really tall bed, it can be a little scary because you'll feel like maybe you're going to slide off and hit your head. This is why I like doing the ottoman. And I'm just going to sit down on the far end so that I'm making sure they're not falling off. You can just kind of come up here, and so now I've got it where the edge of the ottoman is just below the top of my shoulders. I can bring my arms back. Let my head drop down. You're going to get a nice stretch through the front of the body as well as through the shoulders. So if I come back a little farther and bring my shoulder blades off the edge, you're stretching both the back. You're getting a deep back bend, but it's really going to help to open up the shoulders. And then depending on what you're on, so for this, I'm getting a little bit of pressure right up onto my back, right beneath the shoulder, right below the shoulder blades. So for me, that's a good spot to have that little bit of pressure there. You want to be mindful of how intense this is for your shoulders. Tight shoulders, this can be quite painful. So you could hold your arms up and maybe just extend them out part way. And also just that sort of head rush factor of having your head down can be sometimes a problem. Or I'm going to try to bring myself back up here. Oh, all right, that felt good. So while we're seated, or while I'm seated, and you can do this if you're just sitting on your floor too. This is one of the things that you can do during the day in your chair. Just pull your shoulders back, push your chest forward, and then you can just round gently. You can do a little seated cat and dog. So if you're on the floor, right, you're just here, and then you're just gonna round. And pull your shoulders forward. And then inhale. Pull your shoulder blades back. Push your chest forward. Good. Breath. If you have a stability ball, you can also do that kind of back bend. So on the stability ball, you sit on it, and then you start to kind of, walk your way down so the ball's still behind you, and then you just start to ease back and bring your arms back. Okay, so one more with the ottoman, and then we'll get rid of it. This you can do with some kind of a bench, chair, yoga blocks. You've probably done this before. Sometimes I'll just use it with like a tabletop, dining room table. You can just stand up and fold forward. Just bringing your elbows onto the edge, and you're going to try to drop your head down between your arms. So your spine's dropping down. This is a more intense version of that cat and dog, where the head is dropping down a little bit lower. You're getting a little bit more stretch in your arms. Good, and then we're going to release. If you have a chair too, you can also do a down dog using a chair. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. Take another breath. All right, good. Here I am. Down dog is another really good one for the shoulders. So let's just try to take a breath in down dog. It can also be super intense on your shoulders. One of the ways to modify a downward facing dog is to turn sideways on your mat. So you've got that stability still. Take your feet out wide and then walk your arms forward. So now, really the intensity of the pose is in my legs, but I can get this stretch in my shoulders. So I can lift up onto my fingertips and try to rotate my elbows out slightly, shifting where my shoulder blades are. If you're low enough, so if your legs are loose enough and your feet are pretty wide, you might be able to bring your lower arms down onto the floor. And then you have this little room to play. You can lift up a bit. Again, try to feel what's going on in your shoulder blades. Drop your spine down between your shoulders. You can turn your head a bit to one side and then to the other. And then you can lower back down. Bring your hands behind you. Interlace fingers. Pull hands away from the body. Stretch those shoulders out. So just even those couple of stretches during your day, it's going to help to minimize, where's my head? To minimize that intensity of what goes on in our shoulders from our daily sitting at the computer, right? And just our stress. We start to lock up those shoulders, right? When our workload is really intense and our shoulders just start to go, yeah. So just a couple of little stretches, a little down dog, a little forward fold, hands behind you. If you've got an ottoman to lean back on, go for it. All right, so now we're just going to come on into child's pose. Bring your head down. Breathe out. Now we're going to work on the softness in the shoulders. Child's pose can still be, you can still feel the stretch in your shoulders, even when they're not crazy tight for me. I can still feel that child's pose. It's releasing out some of that tightness in my shoulders. And then you want to work on really letting the body relax. We're trying to relax all these muscles in through the ribs to help get our shoulders to loosen up. And as always, just the breath, reducing the tension in your body by using your breath will help a bit with releasing some tension out of your shoulders. We're going to take it into half melting heart. Melting heart is where you're just coming up onto your knees and you're walking your arms out. You're trying to bring your chin down onto the mat and your chest down. That's pretty intense. If you're okay there, you can do that. So half, you're starting really on like your lower legs and your lower arms. And then you're just going to slide your right arm forward, turn your head to the left. So you're dropping this right armpit down towards the floor. Left arm can shift out. Oh, glasses don't work well there. Left arm can shift out a bit to the side. So you're just trying to drop that right side of your chest down towards the floor, the armpit. Breathing. And then we're going to come back through center. So head rolls back to center, right arm comes back. Take a breath. You can even sit back in child's pose. If you need to shift your arm positioning, so from child's pose you can bring your arms out sort of to your sides, just not having that arm reaching out in front of you the whole time. And then we're going to come forward again. Arms forward, come back up onto your lower arms. Now we're going to turn our head to the right and let the left arm slide forward. So you're dropping that left armpit, that left side of the chest and ribs down towards the floor. You're not going for anything touching. You may get, if you're loose enough, you may have your armpit come down onto the floor. But that's not your goal. You're just trying to lower that part of the body down. So I just had to move my left arm out a little bit. It's not in a good spot. You may need to adjust. And then come on back to center. So head comes back to center. Left arm pulls in. Once again, we're going to sit back in a child's pose. I'm going to bring arms along my sides, alongside my legs. And breathe. And take this moment to notice how you are. Take a moment to think about what you're grateful for. Be just having this moment to stretch. And then we're going to come back into a down dog. If down dog is not a great pose for you, you can try dolphin. Staying on your lower arms, pull your toes under, bring your knees up. So really just like a down dog. Or if you wanted to do that wide leg down dog again, you could, but we're going to try to bring one leg up into the air. So from a down dog or a dolphin, if your legs are really tight and you're in dolphin, don't worry about trying to bring the leg up if it's not going. But if you can, just going to extend your right leg up into the air. You're going to try to drop your head down. So we're having this consciousness, not just of what's going on in the legs and in the back, but what's going on in our shoulders. So noticing if as you bring the leg up, you're shifting forward. You're going to try to drop your head down a little more towards the floor. And then we're just changing sides. Let that right foot come down. Inhale up the left leg. And again, just see if you can push back a little bit, like you're really pushing into your hands, bringing your head down. Breathing. And then let that left foot come down. Take a breath. And then we're going to do a vinyasa. If you're coming into plank, I'm going to use knees here. My elbows are already feeling a little cranky today, a little stressed out. If you're good with your legs straight, you're just on your toes, right? And then we're going to lower down. So whether you're on your toes or on your knees, lower down carefully. Pay attention to your shoulders. Pull those legs backward. Press into your hands. Pull your shoulders back. So we're working on those shoulders. Pull your shoulders back and then push into your hands. Pull your chest forward. Try to really feel something happening in those shoulders. And then gently lower on down. Take a breath. Let your stress release out with the exhales. So here too, on the floor with your head down, hands somewhere below your shoulders. You can try to push into your hands and pull your shoulders away from your ears. Pull your shoulder blades down towards your hips. So just a little gentle in the pressure in the hands, like you're trying to push your heel, the heel of the hand, forward, pulling those shoulders back. And then release. Turn your head to the right. And then bring your head back through center. And turn it to the left. So we're turning the head, we're putting a little pressure downward. And from here, we're just going to roll it into flying fish. Extend your right arm out at shoulder height. So your head's turning to the left. Right arm stretching out, and you're just going to start to put some pressure onto that right shoulder. You may not roll. Maybe you're just going to extend the arm out. You're going to press this left hand down into the floor and get that little bit of pressure on your right shoulder. If it's okay for you to roll, you're not having any pain, just going to roll onto the side of the body. Legs can stay straight. Right, you can extend this top leg out behind the bottom leg, or the sole of that left foot can come onto the floor. Your right arm can really reach in any direction. If you're able to get hold of the hand, you can interlace fingers together. And then we're going to roll it on back to center. Come back to the middle. You can rest head on your hands or arms. Take a breath. Really working on that sense of calmness here. Release some stress out of the shoulders now. We're just going to enjoy these little moments of peacefulness. Sometimes I don't think you guys can hear that on that video. Sometimes if my exhales are just there's like this little whimper that comes out that cracks me up. It's like this little, like I needed this so badly. It's almost like a little mini cry. All right, we're gonna take it to the other side. Left arm stretches out. Head turns to the right. Breath. Observe how you are just before you even start to move toward your left side. Observe how that side's feeling. And then as we roll, we're observing. How are we doing on this side? What's going on here? How are you going to position your body? What changes are you going to make to accommodate this side of the body? So again, legs can stay straight. You can just kick this top leg out behind the bottom leg, or you can bring that foot onto the floor. And then front arm. Sometimes I like to reach forward. And again, sometimes I like to bring it up. And if you can reach the other hand, harder for me on this side, you can try to interlace those fingers together. So that, again, is just going to squeeze your shoulder blades in. I'm going to pull a little bit more on those muscles around the shoulder blade. Still working on releasing stress out with your breath. And so when you find like those good spots, with every pose it's variable for me from day to day. All right, we're just going to gently release. But if you find those sweet spots where it's just a really good day to hold that pose a little bit longer, just pause your video. If it's not a good day, you can fast forward, or you can just take the time to come out of the pose and enjoy that bit of relaxation, just being on the floor. I think being on the abdomen, as long as it's not painful for you, being on the abdomen, there can be something very comforting, relaxing about being on the abdomen. Let's take it into a half frog. We're going to bring that right knee up to about hip height. So we've got the inner leg facing the floor. We're going to reuse our exhale. And you can stay flat, or you could be up on your lower arms. Wiggle the shoulders around a bit. If you want to go for quads, I often find it's easier to reach for the quads in this pose from being on my lower arms. And you can reach back with either hand. So I've got right knee up. I prefer to reach back for left foot with my right hand. If you prefer to do it, I'm not going for it. It just feels wrong for me. But you could also grab your left foot with your left hand. And then you're just working on this little squeezing in, trying to stretch the quads on that left leg while we still have our inner right leg facing down towards the floor. As we're reaching back for this foot, all right, I'm gonna have to try it on the other side. I think, no, you get a bit of a shoulder opening either way, either hand. I like it going across because I feel like this shoulder pulls backward a little bit more, opens up a little more. There's like that little bit of a spinal twist in there. All right, let's change sides. Although I feel like I could stay here for a really long time today. All those muscles in this pose are crying out for help. Alright, we're gonna let the foot go. We're gonna straighten out this leg. Oh, I'm kicking my pillow. Okay. So bring your left knee up to about hip height. Breath. For me, this side in this pose is always a little more intense. In those spots of intensity, you may just decide that you want to let that sink in and let your body adapt to that pose. Obviously, if it's too intense, you're going to let yourself come out of the pose. But I'm just thinking in terms of before I go and grab my foot, I'm going to just let this left leg settle down because it's just a little much. It's not painful, but it's just a little, I don't really know what the right word is to describe it, but it's just a little intense. Okay, and then if you're going for a foot, again, either way you want to go for it, either hand you want to go for. You can reach back with left hand or right hand. Just try to squeeze that right foot in towards your hip. Still working on letting everything relax. I noticed I was tensing up muscles around my hips. So let both legs and hips relax. Breathe out. And then release this foot if you have it. Straighten out that left leg. And then we're going to push back into child's pose. And once more, arms can either extend out forward or you can let them be alongside your legs. And then we're going to take the shoulders in the opposite direction. We're going to do thread the needle. Come up onto hands and knees. We're going to round a little bit. We're going to take the left arm underneath the right. And then if you like, you can keep your right hand down or you can bring it up. Or if you want to extend your leg out, you're going to bring your right leg out to the side. And again, hand can stay down or reach up. So we're putting this pressure all down on the left shoulder. It's pretty much the exact opposite of the flying fish. Pulling the arm towards the chest rather than away from the chest. Got your leg out, pull it in. Press into your right hand. Come on back to center. Round it into cat pose. And then we're going to slide right arm underneath left, palm up. Try to extend your leg, left leg's coming out. And then wherever you feel like you want your left hand to be. And then we're going to come on back to center. And slowly shift onto your back. And let yourself just lengthen out here on the floor. Let yourself be flat. Also just this flatness during the day. We're really changing the shape from when we're sitting in a chair, working at the computer. You can always do your arms overhead as you're just lying flat on the floor. So one of the main problems with the shoulders is that they get stuck in place because we really don't move them that much when we're working, for most of us. Any little shift in positioning, if you're having a hard day, you're really tired, just lie down on the floor, on the couch, and bring your arms out past your head. That's going to change the positioning of where your shoulders are. But you can always do it in just this very small, relaxed way. It doesn't always have to be so much intense movement. All right, let's do thread the needle. Not thread the needle. Yeah, some people do call this thread the needle. I try not to because it's confusing. We're going to do reclining pigeon. That's it. Right ankle on top of left thigh. And then you're just going to bring this left thigh up. If this is stressing your shoulders out, bring something under your head because it's going to help bring your shoulders up to your leg so you're not reaching quite so far. Or you're going to do this thing where you're letting your legs drop over to the side. Oh, that feels good today. You're going to let your, what did I say, right foot over left leg? You're going to let that right foot come down. Breathe. So again, if your shoulders are already stressed out and you're holding that leg and pulling in and your shoulders are tensing up, let it go. Let your legs drop over to the side. And then we're just going to release. We're going to bring this right foot up towards the ceiling. We're going to hold the back of the leg. Squeeze in. Then bring both legs up. Pull them both in towards you. So we're going to get this little stretch in the back as we pull those legs in. And then take your feet out wide. We'll get a little inner leg. You can push down gently if it's not too uncomfortable. If it's really uncomfortable, you can push up. You can hold your legs up a little bit higher. You can rotate your feet around. And then we'll bend, which way are we going? We're bringing left ankle on top of right thigh. And each side can be different. How are you doing on this side? Do you need a prop under your head here? Or are you going to let your legs drop to the side rather than hold them? I'm going to let mine drop. So if you're letting your legs drop over to the right side, you're letting your left foot come down. If it's sliding, just try to anchor it with your right hand so that your foot's not sliding out along the floor. Breath. Soften abdomen. Bring this left leg up towards the ceiling. Just bring it on up, hold the back of the leg, squeeze in gently. And then we're going to do both legs up again. And feet drop out wide. And then happy baby. Bend your knees. So let your feet come towards each other. Arms are reaching between your knees. Grab a hold of the feet and then either feet together, pulling in towards your face, or feet separate so that you've got those knees pushing down towards the floor. Breathe. And then we're going to take it into a twist. Let both feet come down. We're going to straighten out right leg. We're going to have left foot on the floor. We're going to bring this left knee over to the right side. Arms out about shoulder height. You can either keep your left foot behind or kind of resting on your right leg, or you can bring that foot all the way over. Big breath. And then back to center. Right foot on the floor, left leg out straight. Right knee goes over to the left side. Again, either keeping foot resting on the leg or bring that right foot all the way over. So in these twists, you're opening up shoulders as well. And then we're coming back to center. If you need to stretch out the low back, you can do it just with your feet on the floor. Push your low back down. You can pull your knees in. If you want to do happy baby again, grab hold of your feet. And then we're going to do Shavasana. If you haven't ever done Shavasana with your legs up, if you have just some kind of a pillow or something, I just have this nice big one here, you can just elevate your legs a bit for Shavasana. It can be super relaxing for the low back to have that little bit of lift. But just find your own spot. You can turn your head from side to side, release out the neck a bit. And then a breath. Sink down. We're just going to be still for a couple minutes. Feel what's going on in the body. Just notice the sensations in the body. Notice how you're feeling. Feel your breath. Gently move your fingers. Move your wrists. Wiggle your toes. Move your feet around. Notice how you are. Hopefully you feel better. Just roll to your side. And then we're going to try to make our way back up into a seated position. Sometimes I feel like I get stuck here. Alright, here we go. Hands at the heart. Nice full breath. Thank you for sharing in this practice with me. I hope you have a great afternoon or evening or morning. Namaste.